Good morning, everyone. It's Heather here. It is Friday, November 19th, and we are a little bit red here as we look into the open. The Dow's down about 250 points. It's dropped a bit since even I first opened up the page here, opened up the room here. But taking a well-deserved break. We've had a lot of back and forth. We've been channeling here for a while. This is S&P futures. We've been channeling here for a while. Yesterday, we closed up, put in a new high, and had actually built in just a little bit of volume there. But we'll see what that transpires to today. Some good earnings out last night. INTU. This one you'll see if you open up today's price action. It is gapping up to over 709, clear almost 710 there. And PANW are some of the winners from last night. Palo Alto, PANW. Here, really nice. It had taken a nice push off the 20 anyway yesterday. And then continued on here. It is sitting at 541. So potential day traders in both of those. So we will take a look at it. All of the options I'm going to put out, except for two, will be January options. But let's start with the one that is not. MRNA, really nice move, just taking its time here, made a nice little bowl. Yesterday we talked about, I know several of you have played it over the last couple of days. This morning we are working on this 200, which is pulling our 3 nicely up over the 8. We have this nice gap. We have 2 gaps, right? So we entered into a gap. This particular gap will fill around 278. Then we start a new one at 297.73 that will come up here and fill at 336.20. So lots of room there. Not a lot of volume resistance in our way through that gap. So I really do like the MRNA. They only had Decembers that were really worth looking at. I like both the 250 and 260 there in MRNA. Needs to stay and hold above the 200 in order to stay as a swing trade. And then Netflix, pretty decent pullback yesterday. It was kind of flailing around, looked like it might try and reverse and go back to the top side. It did not. However, it's still staying pretty nicely here above the 8. This morning, it is turning itself right back around. It is at yesterday's highs, has exceeded those. It's right now sitting at 691.50. I am looking at the 700s in those for December. You can certainly look out to the 690 and the 700s for December or January in those. All right. Well, we cannot not talk about Apple. So they came out, talked about home repair kits, the ability for you to repair your cell phones and such at home. Really gave us a nice bump. Came in yesterday, started talking about the car, and boom, just really took off. New all-time high here. Looking for a little bit of a pullback into yesterday's action. Maybe even back to around 157 would be ideal. And then watch for the reversal on the intraday chart. It's sitting at 157.40. So kind of close to that. We'll see if we can get a little bit more of a dip down. And then a push up in Apple, watching the 155s and the 160s there. Well, green apples, and then there's Tesla. Tesla gave us a really nice inside candle here yesterday, and look at that. We pulled the 3 up over the 8. We are just above the 20, and although we came back in, we did sit on that fib line, which is really close to that 20 for support. Looking for a breakout of today's candle. If it breaks to the top side, obviously that would be a long play. If it breaks to the downside and give up that 8, that would be a downside play there in Tesla. And I would look at the 1100s for the top side play and the 1050s to it for a downside play in Tesla. All right, we noted Datadog yesterday. It did get added. I don't remember if it was an add position or an add-on position, but Datadog was on the IBD leaderboard yesterday. We talked about this consolidation anyway. Just really nice consolidation here. Looking for the breakout. Well, this is the breakout this morning. It is actually up a bit. Still within the wicks of these candles. It is sitting at 196.15. So look for a setup on that, potentially an opening range break in Datadog, and I like the 195s on those. We also talked about Etsy. Etsy here, nice inside candle, looking for a break to the either the top side or the downside of yesterday's candle. So another one, when you put in inside candles, you look for the break one way or the other, and then that's the way you play it. But I really like this more to the top side to put in a new high. Breaking that 294.40 level is a really big level, and I like the 290s in Etsy. Both Lowe's and Home Depot have been performing very, very well since their earnings. Looking here into Lowe's, it popped up the day, when the earnings were released, and then came back in. We held that level pretty closely yesterday and started moving back up. Take a look at Lowe's. Anything over yesterday's close in Lowe's, I like it at the 250, and certainly you can look at the at Home Depot for a similar type play. Amazon, not really setting this up, but pointing out, we talked about matching up with these candles here, that this was the next resistance level, and it was very finicky yesterday. It looked like it was going to give up and become a mess, and then all of a sudden yesterday afternoon it shot up in here and closed close to yesterday's high. Anything over yesterday's high for a run toward that previous high, I think we'll have a little bit of resistance somewhere here in the 37.45 range would be my guess. Just based on that previous action, it is sitting at 37.11 here this morning, so just up over yesterday's high. And net, well, Pan W moved, net's in that same space. Looking at net here, net is watching the 220s here on this one for a breakout of yesterday's high. So just a nice little breakout play, following a little momentum off of Pan W and a little bit of extra volume built in there. So potentially something to look in there, maybe more for a day trade. And then also LAC. We did talk about LAC yesterday. Very briefly, I got into NUE. We talked about LAC, and it ended up kind of just melting away here. It didn't really look very exciting. Well, this morning it looks a lot more exciting. It's at 33.50, so if you didn't take the NUE trade and looking for another play kind of similar to that, anything over, I would say around 34.10 here on LAC looks pretty good for a test of the high of yesterday, and then of course a test of the high overall in LAC, and I would take a look at the 30s or the 35s there. All right, that is it for me here. Whoa, I can't believe I forgot one more retail. Retailers yesterday did great. We had Kohl's reported, Macy's. They all did awesome. So retailers are overall really nice. We called out this reversal yesterday. We talked about it. We hit that point of control. Talked about a nice strong close in Walmart, and guess what? Follow through here this morning. So take a look at Walmart for now, a move above the 50. It is playing right around that 50 here as I make this video, but the 50, anything above the 50 is where I would be looking for an entry in Walmart. I would look at the 145s to the 150s. All right, that is it for me here. I hope you have an awesome day. If you have any questions, reach out, heatherc@givingtreetrading.com.